It is 7 o'clock. That means that we are going to open our meeting for PR Masters. PR Masters is a specialty club that meets once a month online in Zoom. We're located in District 7, but we have members from all across the United States, North America, and beyond, across the world. So it is wonderful to see all of your smiling faces. I am excited to introduce our Toastmaster for today, Maren.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew. It is a pleasure for me to be here to be your Toastmaster this evening. And I've been part of this club for a couple of months. I joined right about the time you guys chartered, which is interesting and fun. The club has been a wonderful opportunity to be here. PR, public relations, and passions for that. And we all have a certain amount of love-hate with public relations and promoting our club and promoting what our clubs do. And it's good to be part of a group of people who know the importance of that, know the value of that. And when it's done and done well, everybody benefits from the efforts. I really appreciate this particular club and the way that we do support that and come together and help to, in our own little networks, continue to spread out the word about this club and what we do and how we do it and how we support each other. I was talking to a new mentee that I have in my other club, New Horizons Toastmasters, and we got into the topic of why for so many people Toastmasters works and why we keep coming back. And this is a specialty club related to PR. And there's this balance between what we can do well and where we need to improve. And many of us are VPPRs, or we just know the value of PR for our clubs. And we know that we don't do everything as efficiently or effectively or as well as we can or we want to. And we all share our gifts and our insights so that we can improve in our ability to promote what we need to promote and help the club become a better club. So it is an exciting evening for me to be here to listen to people share some ideas, some very specific ideas on how to help our promotion of our clubs. And that can translate to what we need to do in our work lives, in our personal lives, and also just to kind of have some fun, just to enjoy the evening and help us to take a break and focus in a little bit. So I appreciate everyone being here this evening, and we're going to get this done. It'll be fun. There is one role that one person had committed to, and gosh darn it, he's not here. Oh, wait a second. No, I don't think so. Not yet. And it's our general evaluator. And it's always a little awkward to fill a role when you, oh, wait a second. Oh, I just said the role, and magically he appeared. Joe Harper, whew, man, I'm telling you. It's amazing when these things work out well. So we are ready to roll. Our timer this evening is Carissa. And Carissa, I would like you to take a moment to explain the timer role and its importance in Toastmasters.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Carissa Young. I am the timer for this meeting. And of course, the timer helps by indicating when a speaker is coming to the end of their expected time interval. Our speech times tonight, we have 2 speakers. Usually they will be speaking for the usual 5 to 7 minutes. I will show green at 5 minutes, 6 at yellow at 6 minutes, and usual red at 7 minutes. And we also use timing to keep table topics moving along in time.
Timer, point of order. My speech is 8 to 10.
Oh, thank you for the correction, Fred.
I was going to share that, but thank you.
Sorry, Bill.
Excellent.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
Timing and good communication are part of good meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa. Thank you very much. One of the things that I like about having a timer is one of the things that I really like about meetings is when they end. and having a timer helps us make sure we end on time. Our other role that I'd like to introduce at this point is our group feedback leader, Adam. Adam, could you tell us a little bit about what your role will be this evening?
I won't tell much because not a lot of people are familiar with all the magic I'm gonna do. Anyway, I'm putting too much pressure on myself, but let's keep the suspense. Let's just say it's gonna be an interesting way to solicit some feedback on some of the speeches which we'll have today. And some of you are probably familiar with it, but for the others, it'll be a little bit of a surprise. So let's keep rolling.
Okay, thank you. I love anticipation. We're going to get started into one of the major aspects of our meetings, which is prepared speeches. We have prepared speeches. We have evaluations of those speeches. We also have some table topic times and other opportunities to talk and learn some things amongst ourselves. Our first evaluator is friends of ours from New Horizons Toastmasters Club, Jordan Burnett. Jordan, if you could tell us a little bit about how you're going to approach your evaluation role this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and thank you, fellow PR masters here. I'm happy to see a few familiar faces because I've never been here before, and here I am. I've got a role because Bill asked. I am a PR newbie. Maybe I know more than I think, but I really don't know anything. So I'm looking for some engagement and some topic. I need to be hooked because I kind of think of it as maybe a dry topic. So I'm looking for Fred to compel me and make me intrigued so that maybe I come back next month. And then I'm also looking for, so we've got compelling topic, engagement, and then, you know, the other usual hits, gestures, vocal variety. We'll let you know after he's done what he did really well at and maybe what he can work on. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jordan. Our first speaker is Fred Bergeron. Fred is the immediate past District Public Relations Manager for District 84 in Florida, an avid photographer, and just started applying videography to his media business, 386 Studios in Ormond Beach, Florida. Fred was in the Navy Seabees for 12 and a half years, loves playing poker, and was recently accepted to be a test speaker for District 38 for an area evaluation contest on February 17th for areas 82 and 83. Fred will be working from the Pathways Level 4 project, Public Relations Strategies, where he tells us how to take great photos of your club meetings, both virtually and in person. The title of his speech is How to Take Great Club Photos. Is 8 to 10 minutes long to compensate for taking notes and or screenshots during the presentation. Fred, welcome.
Thank you, everybody. So, show of hands, can everyone see my screen? Thumbs up. Thank you. So, oh, gotta go back. Sorry about that. Let me stop sharing. It went to the end of the screen. I need to be at the beginning. So here we go. I can fix that. Well, I said I could. Hold on. There we go. My apologies. Now, show of hands here. How many people here are current VPPRs or past VPPRs? Show of hands. Okay, great. Well, I'm here to tell you how to take great club photos. So the question I have for everybody, and if someone wants to answer this question, is what's the best camera to use when taking club photos? Who wants to take a stab at this question? Bill,
You have?
Yeah, what? Yes, Matthew answered it. The one you currently have. So Matthew passes go and he gets to collect $200. So whether you have a full-fledged camera, a smartphone, or a computer, I'm here to show you how to take good club photos with 2 of the 3 of those items. What I'm not here to show you is how to take pictures like this, or tell you about depth of field, or things of that nature. What I am here to tell you about is basically how to take good photos with your cell phone and your computer. For those of you who have phones, there's something called grid lines on your phone that most of you may not know about. That's something that uses what's called the rule of thirds, which I won't go into great depth about that. But what that's used for, that helps you keep your subject centered. And I don't mean center as in the middle, but I mean centered as far as perspective goes. And it also helps you keep your photo straight. So if you're not using a tripod, you make sure that your subject is somewhere in those grid lines so that your subject is also pretty straight. Now, feel free to write this down or take a screenshot. I'm going to leave these up here for about 30 seconds. If you have an Android phone, this is how you access the grid lines on an Android phone. If you have an iPhone, this is how you access the grid lines on the iPhone. And I'll leave that up for about another 30 seconds. And then I will move on to the next screen. Okay, everybody good? I'm moving on to the next screen. Screenshots. You heard Frederick Allen ask about this earlier. So Frederick, I hope you're taking good notes or you're willing to take notes of these. For those of us meeting virtually like we are now, you can take photos of your meeting doing screenshots with your computer. So if you have a Windows computer, these are what you need to know if you have a Windows computer. Print screen is the most common one to use. I like to use what's called the snip tool or the snip and sketch tool. And basically what that does is that freezes the screen. And then you basically just cut around it, trim around it, and save it as a JPEG. Some ways you can find that on a Windows computer is look for the scissors icon on your desktop, or you can type the word snip in the search bar. If you're a Mac user, these are the keys you're going to use here, Command+3 and Command+4, depending on how you want to save the screenshot. And I guess I'll leave this up here for about another 30 seconds, give people a chance to write notes, take a photo of it, take a screenshot of it, and then I'll move on. Okay, we good, everybody? Can I get a thumbs up, Bill? I think we're good. Matt, okay. So now I'm going to go over some best practices. Now I'm going to ask someone else who can tell me, Matt, if you want to try to answer this question, why do I have a thumbs down on the photo on the right?
Your subject has closed eyes.
You are correct. You get to pass go and get $200. I'm showing the arrow right there on where she has her eyes closed. That is why it is important to take more than one photo of the same shot. That's one of the most typical things you're going to run across when you take photos. And this is obviously if you're in a hybrid environment and you're taking photos in your club meeting room. So that's why it's important to take more than one photo of the same shot. You also want to take more than one photo of different shots, like your table topics master, your Toastmaster, things of that nature, for the same reason. Spice it up a little bit and have more than one photo to show of your club, whether you're meeting virtually or hybrid. You also want to remember not to have any busy or distracting backgrounds. You don't want to do any bad or blurry photos, hence why you want to take more than one photo. You want to have good lighting. And in a hybrid environment, you want to make sure that you show the hybrid screen somewhere in the background so that people know you're having a hybrid meeting. So if you post them on Facebook or your website and you're having a hybrid meeting, don't just say we're having a hybrid meeting, show them pictures that you're actually having a hybrid meeting by showing that virtual screen with all the Zoom people on it. Now, if people want to take notes here, I'll leave this on for another 30 seconds and then I'll move on. Okay, can I get a thumbs up? We good? Can I move on to the next screen? Okay. These are examples of what I did using my computer, taking screenshots. This top left corner is a member. I'm a club called Find Your Funny Toastmasters, and I just did it in gallery view. You can see here. The photo here in the top right is one of a hybrid club I belong to, where you can see the Toastmaster on the right-hand side and the virtual speaker speaking on the big screen. The bottom left here is another meeting at our virtual club with the table topics master speaking. And the one on the bottom right here was a session that current international director, Margaret Page, was putting on that I did a screenshot for. I personally like using speaker mode because I think it shows a better perspective. But if you want to let people know that you have a lot of people, you can also do it in gallery view in Zoom. You also want to do some photo editing to get your pictures to look good. I'm going to talk about two of them, and that's Snapseed and Adobe Photoshop Express. And don't get Adobe Photoshop Express confused with the non-Express version of Photoshop. They're two different versions. Snapseed used to be free. It is now $19.99 a month, and it's a little bit more high-end than Adobe Photoshop Express. Adobe Photoshop Express used to be free as well. It is now $9.99 a month. Snapseed used to only be available on mobile devices. It is now available on mobile and computer, as well as Adobe Photoshop. So let me end by saying that when it comes to taking photos and when people are trying to find your club, they're not looking for professional photos. What they're looking for is content, and you see the information here. I'll let you guys take a moment to take a picture of it. But what content is it's something, as I think her name is Jordan was saying, it's something that draws people to coming to your website. What do you have on there that's going to draw them to your website? Yes, it's going to be good pictures, but it doesn't have to be photo pictures with a blurred background or very enhanced colors. Just provide good content and people will find you to join your club. If you want to check out some of my work, you can go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/386 Studios. Give me some comments, give me a thumbs up, and I will turn things back over to our Toastmaster, Bill Maren.
Bill, we cannot hear you.
Well, thank you. Darn it. I said it so well, too. I was just saying how much I appreciate it because I teach digital photography, and it's nice to know that I'm doing things right. And you gave me some good ideas as well, so I appreciate that. Adam is going to lead us in some group feedback. Adam, go ahead and let's do this anticipation, get rid of some of our anticipation here.
What's going on today? Okay, here's what I want you all to do. I put a link in the chat. So go ahead and click on the link and provide one or two word feedback for Fred. Like, what did you think about his speech? Like, what would you describe to use to describe his speech? In the meantime, I'm gonna share my screen, and if things go well, we will see some magic. Okay. There you go. Helpful, challenging, innovative, considerative audience. Yep, I agree with that. Interesting, reassuring, creative. Screenshots are awesome. Lots of good feedback. More photos. Yep. You can't have enough photos. Carissa, am I at 1 minute? Just stop sharing.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
we'll come back to this. I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
Okay, thank you very much. We look forward to your next way that you will help us to give feedback in the meeting. For our second speaker, our second evaluator is going to be Jennifer Schmidt, who's a member of this club, but also New Horizons. I keep mentioning that club. I kind of apologize, but not really. Jennifer, could you let us know what you are going to look for as the evaluator for Maren this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. It is my pleasure to evaluate Maren Ziba this evening. As a PR master, Maren is trying out the Canva presentation feature for the first time after being inspired by yours truly, me. Her presentation is a level 4 project titled Building a Social Media Presence. This is her first time presenting this speech. It is the start of a future presentation that she and Marcy Field are designing around PR campaigns and understanding analytics. The project requests that she present how she did the work, not what she did. I'll be looking at content flow, if her slides both make sense and are engaging, as well as any other areas of presentation that may present themselves. I also really mentions me, that is a sign of a quality presentation. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. You are going to be busy for these next couple of minutes. Hey, let's face it, 2020 was a change year like none has ever experienced. New Horizons Toastmasters stumbled quickly into the Zoom platform and with tenacity worked to build both technical skills and quality meetings in our new all-remote world. Maren Ziba stepped in as president. What was she thinking? Maren knew she needed to quickly find a strategy that would keep most members connected through images and weekly touchpoints, while also managing the ongoing and unexpected challenges of 2020-2021. Social media to the rescue. Welcome, PR Masters VPPR Maren Ziba with Smart PR Planning, Doable Weekly Club Level PR. Maren.
Thank you, Bill. In 2022, we were all reeling from the whiplash of suddenly being transported into this new virtual window. But what is the goal of any public relations effort? The goal of any PR is to reach someone, whether it's reaching a new guest, reaching a member, or reaching a former member. You can use many strategies to reach people. Today, I'm simply sharing one that you might try too. I did a quick SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat analysis in 2020, and determined that our biggest opportunity was our existing Facebook group. And our biggest threat was member attrition. Who knew that our pandemic would also be a regional fire, would also be a crazy election, would also have numerous closures and ongoing uncertainty? A bit of context, New Horizons, that keeps getting mentioned tonight, meets at 8 a.m. on Saturday mornings in the Portland, Oregon, USA area. It's Saturday morning. We are professionals that need to laugh and have camaraderie. We will not get out of bed unless we're having fun. We're not going to show up. And in 2020, a common mantra I had with our leadership team was that we were at first a place of respite, relaxation, rejuvenation. As a whole, we needed to feel better clicking out of each meeting and walking into our weekend in order to maintain our members. In walks SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals. Goals, what are our goals? To build a consistent and sustainable plan that Jennifer Schmidt and I can both accomplish. Grow member engagement, bring in guests, raise awareness of Toastmasters. But why was building member engagement so important? Engaged members feel valued, and showing their value consistently through images and posts was one way to excite guests that joined our Facebook group. We developed 3 promotion types in our SMART plan: announcing, promoting, and following up. Starting with the announcement: theme, Toastmaster of the day, and date. 10 minutes of work, the fastest touch point ever, right after the meeting, as long as you know what the theme is. A little follow-up sometimes. What does it look like? All my images tonight are actually from this year, because some of these practices transferred onto our new amazing leadership team. But to point out, 6 reactions, 6 comments, and 39 people saw this post. We don't have 39 members in our club, but we have many more people in our Facebook group. Second, a branded promotion, 15 minutes to an hour. And you can schedule these things in a Facebook group as long as you're the admin. This is a feel-good piece that attracts guests, that can be shared out, and it's like a little gift to the Toastmaster each week. This is an example from Ann Crutch, our current VPPR. Triumphant moments. What a great photo choice that she had. I definitely want to go to this meeting. And I want to point out that she achieved 3 shares with this post. That's 3 shares into networks that are not our own, that could be reaching non-Toastmasters. Email. But wait a sec, Maren, you're talking about social media today. There's always going to be someone like Jordan, who's in the room today, who isn't on social media. So in every Toastmasters meeting, in my opinion, there should always be an email that goes out to every member that includes the link to the meeting, because someone won't be there and they're missing the touch point. And in fact, I sometimes send those folks images from Facebook, even though they're not on Facebook, to keep them engaged. It's a necessary step. Don't skip it. And the follow-up. As Fred has shown us, the screenshot has so much value. 15 minutes to 1 hour. Real people, warm and fuzzy, and a little bit of fear of missing out, as well as guests seeing this amazing group consistently having good meetings. Here are some examples. This one happens to be Bill's from this year. Nice job, Bill. 34 people saw this post. 40 people saw this one. And 32 people saw this one, and we had 1 share. And boy, did I celebrate that share when that happened. The SMART goals really helped me out last year. And it gave Jennifer and I an achievable weekly plan. And I'm not going to fool you. That type of consistency is difficult, but it also really helps show people what we can do every week. It shows the club experience. Formed an excellent base of information. Apparently I skipped a slide, just a moment. But who did what? Jennifer and I balanced each other out. Initially, Jennifer was nervous about posting on Facebook and didn't feel confident about design work, so I took that on. But Jennifer's really good at writing. She did our emails, she helped me with content. So through PR Masters, she really built confidence in trying design work and ultimately took on most of that work so that I could do other campaign work. It was a real team effort, I have to tell you. So our SMART plan really worked for us. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And what was the result? Entering into 2021-22, we had maintained 20+ members in a high change year. We gained 1 return member directly due to our active Facebook group. We have 3 non-renewing members who are still active and engaged in the group. We had 1 international guest at the beginning of this year, Patricia, she still comes, and 1 consistent D7 guest, Roger. Numerous Facebook group members have joined, and you never know when they might visit again. This was one effort that helped us achieve President's Distinguished for the 10th year in a row. But what could I have done even better? Inspired my club members to stretch their comfort in showing up online. All members can help us grow. Show appreciation by reacting and commenting. 30 seconds or less. Share to your personal feed. It takes 30 seconds to 3 minutes. Be smart. Create your own personal Toastmasters campaign and share it if you have the time. A little caveat, approval from your VPPR and president. And a little shout out to the folks who I see consistently doing this online. Emily Taylor has a wonderful reminiscing quality to an awareness campaign around Toastmasters. Juanita, who's in the room, she's the VPPR of Sage Beaverton Toastmasters. She routinely shares her club's weekly follow-up on her personal Facebook feed. Like a fun meeting to me. And Jennifer Schmidt, she has taken the next step from writing for voices to also promoting voices. Smart. What smart campaign are you going to start in 2022? Back to you, Bill.
Thank you very much, Maren. That was awesome. Excellent. So pointed to PR. Really, really appreciate that. Very well done. But I'll let the evaluator talk about the specifics in a few minutes. At this time, I would welcome back Adam to lead us through another group feedback.
Sounds good. Let me just put the link on the chat, in the chat again. So this is for Maren's speech. Again, if anyone joined late, the drill is you click on the link and you provide a 1 or 2 word, a little phrase, a feedback for Maren, like what did you think about the speech? And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay, very specific steps, great photos, encouraging, celebratory, great info and examples, organized, amazing, lots of great feedback. Yeah, that is something I relate to. It was very relatable and doable, broken down into like really small actionable steps. So it was not inundating for someone who's new to the process. So I appreciated that. Clever, inclusive, educational, fun images. Yeah, I like that. Definitely fun and engaging images. And there's always good to use images of actual people, just adds fun to the presentation. Organized, supporting visuals. Okay, thank you everyone for your feedback. I'll probably do a final review towards the end. I'll stop sharing and Bill, you can take back over.
Thank you very much, Adam. Always appreciate that style of feedback. It's simple, it's efficient, and for some reason my picture disappeared. Oh, there we go. Now I'm back. Carissa, if you could give us the timers report up to this moment.
Yes, Fred's speech clocked in at 9 minutes, 38 seconds. Maren's speech at 9 minutes and 5 seconds.
Okay, thank you very much. And at this point, I'm going to call on our president, Matthew, to bring up a topic that we need to chat about as a club. Matthew? I think, maybe?
Yes,
Okay.
we have to talk about our Zoom account. We have a Zoom account currently, but it expires on May 31st. And wanted to extend out into the group and see if people had options potentially for us to consider. for our Zoom account. Maren.
So as follow-up from our leadership team meeting, I did ask, and I have found a Zoom account that does not use first Thursdays. And so as long as we can align any leadership team meeting, we have an account that we can piggyback onto. The exception will be whether or not that account continues after December, because that's when that account renews.
Okay. All right. Well, then it sounds like we have a solution that will bridge us through the rest of 2022, which is marvelous.
And it sounds like Joe Harper is willing to say it's his account. I didn't want to like it's Joe Harper's account. No, you know, he's totally showing that it's his account.
Now I don't need to volunteer.
Joe, we appreciate it very much. So thank you. The other thing that I wanted to bring up in club business is our Easy Speak. Bill was great as a Toastmaster for all the pre-work that went into this meeting, putting people into roles, checking with people, sending out emails. But it appears that some people haven't had a chance to log into Easy Speak. So I wanted to invite people to either A, log in and sign up for roles, and or to approve that you will be doing a role, or to ask for help. And any number of us who regularly use eSpeak will be very happy to walk you through the steps and help you do that. But it will certainly help our meetings going forward if our Toastmaster can make invitations for folks to take on roles and then count on us coming in and agreeing. With that, that sort of ends club business. I'm going to turn it back over to Bill so we can move on to table topics.
Okay. I'm going to ask Maren's question in the chat real quick. You can just hold your hands up. How many people are familiar enough with Easy Speak to actually use it when you get an email from Easy Speak? I'm going to guess about a third, maybe a little bit more. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The next part of Toastmasters that I particularly enjoy is table topics. It's an opportunity for us to think on our feet. And our table topics master this evening is going to be Joe Dudman. Joe, would you please lead our table topics session tonight?
Thank you, Bill. As we all know, PR is a balancing act between engagement and entertainment. You got to draw people in, get them interested, but you also have to have effective PR. You have to not only entertain them, but get them to join you or buy your product. One of my favorite commercials ever was a Nike commercial known as the Bo Knows commercial, starring Bo Jackson and several other very famous athletes. Bo was a multi-sport athlete. He was an all-star in baseball and football. He was an outstanding player in those two sports. So Nike made this commercial that featured him playing those sports, but also featuring other sports that Nike provided equipment for. It was a really entertaining and funny commercial because it showed Bo playing all these different sports, some that we knew he played and some that he never played before. He started out playing the sports that he knew, and other athletes in those sports said, Bo knows football, Bo knows baseball. But then Bo played tennis, and John McEnroe said, Bo knows tennis, in a questioning way. Then he played hockey, and Wayne Gretzky just looked at the camera and said, no. And at the end of the commercial, another Bo, a musician, watched Bo Jackson playing guitar and said, Bo, you don't know diddly. I just love that commercial. It was self-deprecating. It showed Bo didn't really know everything. I loved it. I still watch it on YouTube sometimes. The problem is, I'm not sure I ever really bought any Nike shoes or apparel because of the commercial. I just thought it was great, entertaining. stuff. So I'm going to ask some questions about balancing entertainment and engagement with effectiveness. I'll start off with some members who don't have a role tonight. So let's start with, I'll ask Miranda a question if she'd be willing to take the question. Miranda, okay. Could you unmute and take a question? Was there a particular commercial or ad campaign that really stuck with you, even though you never bought the product? And why didn't you buy the product if you were entertained by the commercial?
I finally unmuted myself successfully. Oh my gosh. My touch screen did not respond to human touch. I'm very upset. Well, let's see. I would say Playtex girdles. When I was a teenager, there were still advertisements for something called Playtex girdles. And my mother, fortunately, really didn't have one, but they were all over TV. And I thought, you know, I'm 13, do I need one? I was more interested in getting the upper part of ladies' undergarment. I was very much, you know, insisting on my mother that I needed that, but I wondered, do I need a Playtex girdle? So at a very impressionable age of 13, when I think most girls either think they're too pretty to believe it or they're just ugly ducklings. So I was in the latter camp. I thought, I think I need a girdle, but what is it and how do I get one? So I guess I would leave it there. I never really wanted to get a Playtex girdle. And when I later learned what it was and the more likely candidates for it, I was glad I didn't have one. And I'm very glad today there's no such thing as we ladies being laced into dresses where we can't breathe and our backs give out because we are unable to stand up without whaleboning. So there you have it. I listened to those ads for Playtex girdles and I never bought one. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Miranda. That's a great example. David Shehorn, would you like to take a question?
Shoot.
All right. Was there a commercial that you found especially effective and led you to buy the product, even if you kind of hated the ad itself?
Well, the first time I saw an ad for a Toyota car, there weren't very many Toyotas in Houston, but I was adventurous and I went and did a test drive in a Toyota car. And even though it was foreign made, and I had a cousin that had one of them, I decided to go ahead and spring for a Toyota. And so I bought a Toyota, but I couldn't afford the air conditioning package. So I had a Toyota for 3 years where the air conditioning was windows down and driving 50 miles an hour. But it was a Toyota Celica. First year they had them. It was a beautiful car. Still like to have it back, but I'd put air conditioning in it because Houston is, 98 degrees at midnight. So it's always hot. It's always humid. That was my best attempt at overcoming my prejudice towards American cars. Before that, I'd had a couple of Chevys, all the losers, Chevy Corvair, and other ones that fell apart after no time at all. Toyota held up, and I sold it after 3 years for more than I paid for it because of inflation. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thanks, David. I have an old Toyota that's still running nicely too. And I use the rolled down window air conditioning system myself. Pretty effective. I wonder if any of our guests would like to take a chance on a question. How about Juanita? Would you like to try one? No obligation.
I think the correct answer is yes.
All right. Thanks, Juanita.
Sure.
Okay. Was there a commercial that you found especially enjoyable and entertaining and that led you to buy the product?
That's a really hard question if you don't watch a lot of TV. television isn't something that I try not to watch it very often. So having commercials that jump out at me, in fact, a lot of times I like to mute the commercials because they are just so loud and obnoxious. I don't understand why it seems like the actors in a lot of commercials seem not as professional and just not as entertaining. Therefore, a lot of the commercials when I do watch TV don't get my attention. There are some, however, during the football season of the playoffs of Super Bowl that I find very entertaining. I don't have a specific one that really jumps out at me, but I do find that when they come around, I don't watch the Super Bowl per se, but I love it that on YouTube, I can go and I can check out the commercials. And sometimes I just look at the commercials and don't worry about what it is that they're selling. I just look for the entertainment value, especially the ones that are humorous. So I'm not sure that the people that are spending big bucks to sell their products would be very happy to hear me say that. But that's the way it is for me. Mute button during regular TV and YouTube for the entertainment value and skipping over ones that I don't find entertaining.
Thanks, Juanita. I use the mute button a lot too. And I have to say, most commercials just seem really boring to me. It's like I can't wait for the 30 seconds to go by and get back to the show. All right, let's see. Who can I call on next? How about Maria? Would you like to take a question?
Maria's driving, so I'm not going to
Oh,
recommend
okay.
that. She's currently
okay.
commuting to Dubai.
Oh, okay. Let's see. How about Joe? Would you like to take a question, Joe Harper?
I'm the GE, so maybe stepping in for me would be that guest, Jim Robinson, who always has something to say.
Sure, Jim. Good choice.
Okay.
All right.
And before we start, Deanna McEnroy has been trying to get your attention. I think she wants to do a topic too.
Okay, Deanna, would you like to take one? Okay. Let's see. What makes an ad or a commercial most effective for you in selling you a product? I think you're still muted.
You may be typing in the chat.
Oh, okay. Deanna says that she was a teen girl in floor hockey in the public school about 10 years, and she saw hockey players for a long time. Great, thanks, Deanna. I love the part of the Bo Jackson commercial where he's playing hockey. I saw a scene about the making of that commercial where he was actually on a gym floor in his bare feet in socks doing that, filming it. So he wasn't actually on the ice. Thanks, Deanna. All right, I think timer, do we have time for another question or two? Or is it time to move on?
Oh, you have more time.
Okay.
Okay, I could go ahead and do one now.
Okay, thanks, Jim. All right. All right, the other side of effective is enjoyability and entertainment value. What elements of an ad or a commercial make them the most, or a PR campaign, make them the most entertaining and enjoyable for you, whether or not you buy the product?
Well, Mr. Table Topic Master and Toastmasters and guests, I would say something that makes it entertaining for me is when there seems to be a story. I've seen some companies develop a series of ads where the story will build through the ads as you go through. You see one month and there's something happening, and then the next month there's something else, and it just kind of builds. It almost becomes like a TV show that you're watching. But I have to mention also, there's one ad that comes to mind that I think about because I remember it so many years later. How many people here grew up in the Pacific Northwest? Okay, do you remember Rainier Beer used to run these commercials where they had a motorcycle or some other sound effect, and the motorcycle would be going down the highway going, Rainier Beer. It just stuck in my mind that the motorcycle was making the sound of the name of the product. It's years later, still remember that. Never drank it because I never drank beer, but I always remembered the ad because it just stuck in the mind. But that also was one of those that was entertaining because it was something that took place in Pacific Northwest, an area that I recognized. Usually the ad was on a highway that I recognized. It was something I could relate to. It was a place where I've been. So that's another connection that I have with ads, is if it's something in a place that I recognize. Toastmasters.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, that was a great campaign. I remember those. I remember watching those with my dad as a kid and really liking those and laughing about them. There was one with a big beer bottles that looked like a herd of elk running through the meadow. That was another good one.
Actually, I think that was Olympia Beer that did that one.
Oh, you're right. Olympia. That's true. Olympia. And even I think Ham's Beer had some funny ones too. All right, let's see. How about, do we have any volunteers who haven't had a chance yet? Frederick, all right, our guest Frederick. Good. All right. Can you think of a public relations or advertising campaign that you didn't like, and how would you have improved it? What specifically would you have changed or added to make it work more effectively?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Just to answer your question, I couldn't even think of a public campaign commercial that I don't even like very much. All I know is that they're great for promoting. They're great for promoting events. Last year when I volunteered to serve on the marketing media team for my club's District 27 for last year's conference, I was asked to create a campaign video to help promote the conference, to show everyone that we are still connecting and still thriving. Everyone loved listening to that because that was definitely a way to draw people in to attend our conference, to show everyone that we were still connected, still thriving with one another, regardless of the fact that COVID-19 can't just stop us from doing what we do best as Toastmasters, being able to help others improve our communication and leadership skills. And that's the thing about campaigns. Sometimes people like them, sometimes people don't. I say I would like them because they're definitely a great way of promoting upcoming events, to get people engaged, to want to attend for the enjoyment. And that is my answer to your question, Table Topic Master.
Thanks, Frederick. Some really good advice relating to Toastmasters specifically. I like that. All right. Marcy, you're always have some entertaining replies. Would you like to answer a question?
I'd be happy to, but I noticed that our guest, Deborah Setter offered to participate.
Oh, okay.
An interest.
Great. Okay. Let's see. Has there ever been a advertisement or a commercial in which a company compared its product to another company, and you ended up thinking, well, maybe that other product is actually maybe more interesting than the product that's being advertised. Did a commercial or advertisement ever backfire in that way for you?
Joe, Mr. Table Topic Master, as far as I can recall, no, but I am not the shopper in the group. I don't like to shop for clothes. I don't like to shop for things for my house. I don't like to order office supplies. It sounds like I don't like anything, but that's not entirely true. I'm just not much of a shopper. I enjoy watching commercials. I think they can be funny, entertaining, just a hoot, to use a colloquial phrase, just a lot of fun. In Indiana right now, we're seeing a lot of commercials for online betting, featuring a character named Caesar, and he's dressed in the traditional golden, looks like, I won't say a toga, but it's the traditional clothing from many years ago, and he's such a personality. And a number of Indiana football players are on the commercials also. Online betting is not something, again, not the shopper, not the bettor, not something that I personally want to engage in, but the commercials are so entertaining. I appreciate commercials, and I know that the commercials help fund the programs. If we didn't have the commercials, we might have to pay to watch the news, or we might have to pay to watch a movie on TV, an educational program on TV, or a comedy on TV. So commercials are a good thing. My dad was in broadcasting, so I appreciate what commercials can do. They can make money for the company, and they also entertain. Back to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Deborah. Commercials can entertain, and they can promote things that sometimes need promotion and other times are not as interesting without the promotion, I guess. I think our president might have an interesting story he'd like to tell us about a bad PR campaign that may have backfired. Matthew?
In 2019, Tesla, which is a company that many people admire greatly, had a reveal for a new truck. It was supposed to be bulletproof. And if you saw any footage, then you know that this was a bit of a PR blunder for them. They threw a metal ball at the windshield to show how bulletproof this truck was. And each time the metal ball hit the windshield shattered. Not what they wanted to have happen. And the reason I brought this up as a PR campaign to think about is it brings up the importance of testing. So if you think about Fred's speech about photography and Maren's speech about setting up campaigns, it just reminds us how important it is to do things like spell check or test that the link that you have on your ad works. These are very simple things that we can do as PR masters in our own clubs at home to make sure that the advertising and PR that we are doing is going to successfully reach people and not shatter the windshield instead.
Thanks, Matthew. Great advice. Yeah, you want to avoid PR bloopers. Test things out and proofread before you send it out into the world. You're right. My second favorite commercial was kind of an unexpected one for me. It was an Applebee's commercial, and it was kind of like a little mini drama about a high school basketball coach, I think. And it was completely corny, but it was just so well produced and well scripted. And it was actually kind of a heart tugger. And he was retiring and he went to Applebee's with his wife, and the Applebee's staff presented him with a plaque. And it was just, the production value was so good that it made it work, even though it was completely corny. So PR is an interesting thing. It can be done well, and it can really backfire. And with that, I'll send it back to Bill, our Toastmaster. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Joe. That was a very interesting and well done table topics time. And we all can relate to commercials. We either love them or hate them. And many times we try to ignore them. I really enjoy table topics. I say this when we do that at my home club, in that I believe it's the most practical part of a Toastmaster meeting, because how many times a day are we asked off the cuff questions and that we need to respond? And doing that in a very effective and concise manner is a skill that really needs to be honed. And so I'm so appreciative of those of us who were able to take the opportunity to test out those muscles that we have to think and to speak clearly, concisely, and quickly, as I will ask our timer to do right now, to give us the timings that we had for our table topics moments.
Sure, thank you, Bill. Miranda was 1 minute 29 seconds. David 1 minute 24 seconds. Juanita 1:41. Deanna texted her response within time. Jim 1:36. Frederick 1:33. Deborah 2:14. Matthew 1:28. Everybody was very timely. Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa. Now comes another part of the meeting that I believe is why people keep coming back. There are takeaways. There are ways that we can concisely take with us to improve our speaking skills, our leadership skills, our strategies as we move forward. And those are the evaluations. And being able to experience how someone else experienced the speech, or even if we were the ones that give the speech, to hear from other people as to how it went, what worked, what didn't work, and maybe see and understand some things that we may have not been able to perceive without some other kind of feedback. It's a little scary. It's a little something kind of like medicine you have to take. And when I had my first evaluation in Toastmasters, I wanted to interrupt that person and I wanted to, hey, yeah, way high, yeah. But I thought, no, I'm just going to listen. So we're going to take a couple of moments and we're just going to listen to our evaluators of our prepared speakers. Our first one is Jordan. And Jordan, if you would please share your evaluative thoughts with us at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Fred. In his speech, How to Take Great Club Photos, Fred did many things very well, and I'm going to highlight a few of those before going on to a few areas that maybe could use a little zhuzhing. First, he had a great, clear opening. Why we are here. We're going to learn how to take better photos. There was no question about what the content or the speech was going to be. And for me, a PR newbie, great hook. Okay, I'm in. This is what we're here for. I really appreciated that. Another element that I really appreciated in Fred's speech was his audience participation. And that I thought we're all kind of on our toes. Who is he going to call on? And we are continually engaged. And yes, there was some raise your hand, but he also called specifically on some people. So we didn't have to worry about who's he going to call and who's going to ask, who's going to answer. So it's very specific. And he kept us engaged by asking questions of the audience throughout his presentation. There was a lot of information that he shared with us. I had no idea that PR Masters was even, I mean, it makes sense that this is a very technical, you're really here to learn, and this is information that everyone is sharing with you. So there was a lot more content than I was expecting. What was great about the slides is that helped to kind of distill and kind of highlight the topics that he wanted to use for improvement, how to take better photos. And so with the visual aids, that's where I have some good things. You know, I really liked the real life examples, the photos that he shared, the what not to do, the what to do. Those were really great. We saw in Maren's presentation as well that we all appreciate the photos and the visual aids. a couple tweaks that I might recommend, that I am recommending to Fred. I feel that we could have benefited from some screenshots where Fred mentioned, if you have an Apple, take these steps. If you have an Android, take these steps. It might have been nice to do some screenshots. So if people are looking for those things, you could just show them what it looks like on their phone or on their computer. Another takeaway for the slide deck is that he did give us time to take notes, to take a screenshot so that we can follow along and take all this great content with us. What would be really awesome is that he made it available to share for the people afterwards, so that instead of being distracted by taking your notes, I mean, there, and did you get this and did you get that, is that he could just give it as a takeaway later for anyone who's interested. And that way we can focus on him. He can keep his time tight and succinct. And then we all get all the information. We don't have to worry about having lost any of that. It's because you had so much great information, Fred, that we all want it. And that way you just let us enjoy the speech more and we can take it away with us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jordan. Well done. Our second evaluator, I'm kind of looking forward to this one, I gotta tell you, because it has become apparent that Jennifer and Maren have a relationship and have worked together. And I don't know which one's the mentor and which one's the mentee in a general setting or in this particular setting. And I think Jennifer might have a few things to say to Maren tonight. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, Jennifer, please give us your evaluation of Maren's speech.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters guests, and especially Maren. Maren, you never disappoint, because even in the introduction of your presentation tonight, you established right away where we should be and how we should follow you. It's a very smart way to start. And what I really enjoy about how you present is you're comfortable, you're engaging. It's like hearing a friend give advice that we all are interested in hearing. And I liked how you did that. It was, of course, you engaged the audience with lots of pictures, including me. How can I argue with that? They were fun to see. A good technique there. If you know you're going to be evaluated by someone, include their picture and be complimentary. The team effort we had during 2020 and 2021 was truly a team, and I couldn't have done it without you. But I appreciate the shout out to me. I appreciate that you shout out to lots of members in the club. Carissa, showing the pictures that are engaging and the photos that really capture the mood. It's not, you did not have a boring presentation by any sense of the word. What I especially like about your presentation is it's honest. You say, this wasn't easy, and you're showing the struggles as well as the struggles of being in a virtual environment. It's not just easy, it's a team effort, and you're emphasizing that. Some areas that could make it a little stronger, the blank slides. I liked when you said, don't skip it, and it had the little boy there. I love the little girl one too, with the smart and the superhero. I thought that was wonderful. With any presentation, a lot of the focus will be on the slides. So when it's blank, it's almost like, for me, I wanted something to be there. So when I saw the little skipping boy, it's like, it would have been nice if you could have interwoven some other ones that had that humor. And your eye contact was good. Your vocal variety was good. You might consider standing and not having the headphones if you could do that. I know you're like a one-woman band because you're trying to do the slides, you're trying to think of gestures. I did see the whiplash gestures, but I really enjoyed the presentation. One last tip, promote yourself at the end. Put PR Masters at the end of the presentation. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. That was a wonderful evaluation. I was expecting a few more. Yeah, but you did really well. Thank you very much. We have an opportunity now to hear from a general evaluator who is here for the first time. He's not new to Toastmasters, knows a fair amount of people who are at the meeting this evening, but this is a bit of a different meeting as opposed to the traditional clubs that we might be attending as Toastmasters. So I am very interested in hearing from our Toastmaster, or I'm sorry, our general evaluator of the evening. I get so confused sometimes. Mr. Joe Harper. Joe Harper, would you please give us your general evaluator's report?
Well, yes, thank you, Bill. General Evaluator's Report. I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to talk a little bit about the meeting, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the two evaluators. Now, something you often hear from a general evaluator is how I really enjoyed your meeting. But you know, most of the time that isn't true. They're crappy meetings. And somebody says, oh, I really enjoyed it. I always really know that they're blowing smoke up my butt. But you know what I got to say to you guys tonight? Well, I really enjoyed your meeting. Oh my gosh, did anybody feel any smoke? No, it was a good meeting. You've got active, engaged, you've got a pace that just keeps rolling on and on. Intelligence people spoke at every juncture. I was very impressed. I was actually impressed. I think it might be the first time ever in a general evaluator's report I've said that. So impressed with the meeting. Why? The elements of intelligence? Yes, but the timer. Carissa, she gave smiles. She gave good color when the times were up. Everyone could see her. Her reports were quick and succinct. I liked the timer. When do you ever hear that? Yep, indeed, the timer was great. Then we only had 2 speeches in this meeting, and those 2 speeches went by fast so that we could have tons of table topics. And I really love the way the table topics master, Joe, was calling on people. I go to a lot of meetings where they ask for volunteers, and that just annoys the bugs out of me because people sit around, well, no, everybody wants to speak. So Joe called on volunteers, he got people, and then he even opened up. When he was tired of calling for volunteers, is there anybody I missed? Is there somebody who would like to speak? And people were helping him. He was adaptable, and he went to that. What else did I like? Oh my gosh. He kept his topics about PR masters, tying on to the theme of what the theme of the club is. That was pretty impressive. Commercials are interesting, made everybody look good with his topics. I almost can't say enough about the table topics master. Who I'm really supposed to talk about, though, and evaluate are the 2 evaluators. And first is Jordan. Well, when Jordan opens her mouth, I want to follow her to whatever club she goes to. She is so smart. That's the first thing that comes out of my mind. Man, that gal's smart. She picks things, she sees things, she's very perceptive. And then she squeezes in those all important at contest level tips to how to improve that speech. Sometimes that can be really difficult. She had a few, like screenshots and a takeaway later. Those were very good tips. You want to know how you can improve, Jordan? Well, I can't say too much. I did notice that since I got to look at both evaluators, I really like Jennifer's light background. You have almost the opposite, a dark background and a light face, but she has that light, and it looks very different. So think about that going forward, if that helps at all. It can be challenging to change. Next, Jennifer. Boy, she comes on with a great warm-up introduction. She's got a relationship with Maren already out of the bag. It's all warm and fuzzy, and then the compliments are flying back and forth, and I liked it. I thought that was pretty cool. We'd never see that at a contest, obviously, but here it was good, and I liked it. She rolling out reflections. She talked all the details. No blanks was her tip, and stand back. I noticed something that was kind of fun about Jennifer. In the beginning, her hands, as she was rolling out and regurgitating the speech, they were rolling it out, but they were also right at the edge of the screen, which was a weird place to be, at the edge. At the end of her evaluation, she stood further back, and I saw hands and more expression because she was trying to use her hands. So tip to Jennifer that could be very useful. Remember to stand back, get those hands fully included and not right at the edge. Now we're coming to the end of all I can think about. So Bill, I'm going to give it back to you. I don't see any colored flags anywhere. I think I might be early. Say hello to that dog on your lap for me. Thank you.
Yes, Magari started to wake up and say, "Hey, what's going on over there? This sounds like a fun time here." So I wanted to give her a little bit of time. Thank you, Joe, for that wonderful report. And thanks for skipping over the Toastmaster. I thought that was really good. I appreciate that. That was really nice. Okay. I am going to ask Adam to give us another opportunity to do some feedback in a way that only he can lead us to do feedback. Adam, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Okay, I put another link in the chat. So this time, overall thoughts on the meeting. Oh, sorry, my bad. This time, where are you joining us from? That's the topic of the word cloud. So I'm gonna go ahead and share. This was a very well chosen topic, thanks to Maren. Since today we have a lot of guests from a lot of different places, and as well as our regular members from all kinds of different places. So good to get a sense of where everyone's from. Okay. Portland, Troutdale, lots of folks from Oregon, which is expected. Carsland. Is that where Marcy is from? Alberta, Canada, downtown Dallas, Salem, Lafayette,
Sorry, I
Indiana.
couldn't type Abu Dhabi.
Sorry, did I hear something?
Maria can't type, so she's adding Abu Dhabi to the list.
Got it. Richfield, yeah, all over the world. Okay, Bill, you want to take over? Back.
Yes, Adam, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity for us to just kind of stop and think about what is happening and what life's like. And we do come from all over the place, which is really, I think, absolutely awesome and a real benefit of Zoom. One of the points that are brought up, and we think, should we go back to meet in person? And we think, well, there's so many people that are from out of the area, way outside of the geographical area, that we're going to miss if we don't do something to keep them involved. And so I appreciate that perspective, ending the meeting like that. I, again, am really glad that I was able to come and participate as your Toastmaster today and think about how PR really does ignite passions, and we engage in PR because of our passions of what we do and what we're able to do through our meetings. And it was a real joy to hear the two speeches and the evaluations and the table topics. All of that is just really for a well-rounded evening that can just benefit this time for everybody. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate everybody who stepped up and filled in the roles. That is what makes meetings happen so well, and it helps us to improve as Toastmasters and as people. So thank you again. And at this point, I'm going to toss it back to our president, Matthew. Lead us home, Matthew.
Thank you very much. I was seeing in chat, we have somebody from China even in our meeting as a guest, which is just wonderful. It's so great to have a club like this that can deal with specialty topics and that encourages members and guests to come from around the world to join us and focus on how we can help Toastmasters grow and how we can feature PR that helps all of our clubs. I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. I want to encourage folks to consider coming to our next planning meeting. The planning meetings are featured on our website, and we're interested in your participation as a speaker. If you have PR ideas, topics that are close to your heart. Today we heard from Fred about photography because that's a topic that's close to his heart. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your ideas, and we want to make them speeches that are featured at PR Masters. we're also interested in having you participate in roles. So do consider volunteering, going to Easy Speak. Do it now, do it today, and volunteer for a role for our upcoming meeting. It makes planning for these events that draw. We had close to 30 people here today, so we have lots and lots of folks. Your participation matters, and we're so glad that you're here. With that, I want to go ahead and conclude the meeting. Oh, hang on, looks like Marcy's got a hand up. Marcy.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I was wondering if we could have some time with some of our guests, if they might like to provide us some feedback.
Oh, yeah, please.
Listeners for the first time here, and I thought it would be great just to hear what they said, their first reaction. Jacqueline.
Thank you, Marcy. I thought it was a very well-run meeting. Definitely had a great showing of people here. It was unique in the way that my Toastmaster group runs meetings, but it was entertaining and I enjoyed it very much. I was hoping to have a chance to talk to somebody maybe after the meeting, if somebody stays back. I have some PowerPoint background questions that somebody may be able to answer about playing a video from a PowerPoint in the background on Zoom. So if anybody has a answer or has some knowledge there, I would love to pick your brain a little bit. Other than that, wonderful meeting. Thank you so much for allowing me to attend.
Thank you very much for your answers. Going through, Frederick.
I really enjoy attending this club's virtual meeting. When I first heard about it, I saw it advertised on the official Toastmasters International Facebook group. I thought it was just going to be a session about how to take great photos and screenshots, but now I see it's just a regular meeting. That's what drew my attention to logging on to this virtual meeting this evening. I thought it was just going to be talking about Fred Burgeson's topic about how to take great photos. And I believe this topic will help me perform my duty successfully as VPPR of my World of Toastmasters Club. And it seems like, and it appears like I'm on the right track in doing this. And if I may make a suggestion, are any of you familiar with photo and video release forms? I would highly recommend that you print out copies of those in case you start hosting events in person, since you're doing meetings virtually currently, I highly recommend that you use the Zoom chat feature, asking for everyone's permission if they would like to have themselves screenshotted. And that is my recommendation on how you can do a great job in taking photos and screenshots.
That's a great reminder for Frederick, for asking people's permission in advance so that we know and giving them the opportunity to black out their screen if they don't want to participate in that. And I know Maren, that's one of her favorite things, rather than those surprise things, is let everybody know you're taking their picture. Are you ready? If you're not interested, could we take a screenshot? Maren.
But I'm intrigued because what Frederick is telling me is that there is like the video box that pulls up, that there's a screenshot box that pulls up. I'm like, there's some kind of feature that I don't know about. Is that what you're saying, Frederick?
What feature is that?
Like, do they have a Zoom feature that says you may be screenshotted in this meeting?
I don't think so. All you gotta do is just type in the chat box and just ask for everyone's permission if they would like to have the video.
I agree with you.
Your screenshot.
We actually
it's
can
a best
put a
practice.
disclaimer up like that at the beginning is an opportunity to do that. So that is great. Great reminder. I hope someone has got it. Fred, could I get back to you with that? I just want to get through the rest of our guests so that we're on our time limit.
Sure thing.
Deborah.
This was a great meeting. I learned a lot. One of my challenges this year is to take better pictures of humans. I can take decent pictures of cats, of Hala, of, objects in the sanctuary, which is my, another one of my PR interests for our congregation, but I don't take good pictures of people at all. I found the presenters engaging, the information informative, and the people interesting, and from all over the world. Thank you for making me feel welcome.
Thank you very much. And you are welcome to come back at any time and even to join the club. We meet only once a month. Janet.
So thank you for posting in the Facebook group. That's where I found you. And I am a bumbling VPPR for an arts district, the Arts District Club, but I'm a club coach to another club here where I am in Delaware, and trying to learn Canva, trying to understand. I'm going to do a survey in the club that I'm VPPR in to find out who's already doing social media, because I'm a dinosaur. I know how to do Facebook and that's it. So I want to piggyback on the people who do Instagram and who do LinkedIn to reach the audience for that particular club. So I enjoyed being here. Boy, it's past my bedtime, so I will pass.
Great. Thank you very much. Juanita.
I loved what Maren said about having respite, relaxation, and/or rejuvenation. I think that that's really important to have, not only on Saturday mornings, but at nighttime, anytime you meet. We meet midday at Age Toastmasters. And, for somebody to give up their lunch break and come, they want to feel like it was an hour well spent. And so we really strive to make sure that at the end of the meeting, they feel better than when they left. When they came. So they feel good when they give up that hour, they feel like I got something and I'm really glad I came. So that is a great goal, and that's something that we strive for as well. So thanks for helping encourage that.
Thanks, Juanita. Yeah, my home club meets at noon too, and I know it's very important to be timely. Cheryl, welcome. Any feedback?
I wouldn't call myself a guest, only except I need to fill out that application form. I've been here a couple times and everything's been as I would expect it. I really enjoy this group. It's always of great value. I think today's particularly interesting because we have our guest visiting from China. So I hope we get a chance to hear from him before he ducks out. So nothing less than what was expected, which is always worth the evening time.
Thank you very much. And Carissa has done a great job. That form you were looking for has just been dropped into the chat, and we'd be delighted to have you fill it in and join us. Bill, we're delighted to have you here.
Hello. I guess obviously I'm from the US, but right now, I guess for the past 4-5-ish years, I've been living and working in China. But I seen this on Facebook and I thought I'd give it a try. Right now, I'm the VPE for Hanyun Pai, but I'm also the assistants for PR in Hanyun Pai and Wuhan #1. So again, I try to learn from others, but at the same time, I try to help promote other clubs as well. So maybe you'll see me post something that you guys posted. I might repost on Facebook, LinkedIn or something. So, but nice meeting everyone.
Well, it's absolutely delightful to have you here. And Deanna, I've been noticing all your wonderful comments in the chat, and I see that you enjoyed our meeting too, with everything that was going on for PR, and you loved the table topics, and you wanted to do an icebreaker speech next in the slide. Okay, thank you. And that feedback. Emily, do you have any comments or feedback for us?
My only comment is I'm sorry I missed part of the meeting before I was able to attend. I had another Toastmasters meeting at 6 o'clock immediately before this one, ran a bit over, but I got here in the middle of the second speaker, and this is not the first time I've been to PR Masters, but it's always a pleasure to attend and see something a little different. It's still a Toastmasters meeting with the prepared speeches and with the table topics, but I like how much thought is put into the overall topics for the meeting and how involved you want people to be in setting up the topic for the next one. I would like to attend a planning meeting. That sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And very quickly, I jumped over Jim and Joe and Jim and Joe, and then I guess Jordan left already. But did you have anything additional to say, Jim or Joe?
I'll say I really enjoy this. I always like visiting this club when I can. And today I actually learned how to get the grid lines on my picture so I can line it up for taking pictures. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful to have everyone. So back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. I think we are going to take a picture. So if you are not interested in having your photo as part of our PR efforts to share that we have a meeting, you are welcome at this point to turn off your camera. Maren will count down to us and take a screenshot.
Fred, do you want to put on your camera, please? Are you there?
I guess, oh, Fred's going to do it. Got it.
Does anyone have any idea hand motion we want to do today?
Do we want to do a?
Well, it's
Oh,
it's Valentine's Day. I mean, because it's February.
Oh, yes.
Let's do hearts.
Oh, but I can't take a screenshot with that, so I'll do a second one and I'll splice it in. Can everybody do this? And then I will try and do the screenshot. And we're ready. 1, 2, 3. Hands up into the frames. Thank you. Oh, 2. Fred taught
Thank
me
you,
today
Juanita.
I gotta take 2 shots, please, a second one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hands in the screen. Thank you. Great. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you for coming.
Quick question. So why is it that sometimes our names and our roles show up and sometimes they don't? I can't quite figure out what it is that triggers when they show and when they don't, because there's some people that don't in my club that don't mind their face, their image shown, but they don't want their name. So I try to make sure that they don't show, but I can't. Is there something that triggers it?
For me on my computer, if I move the mouse over the Zoom screen, all of the names appear.
Okay.
And then if I leave it alone for 10 seconds, 10 seconds, they disappear.
There've been that's kind of what I thought too, or that I move it to a certain point, but there's sometimes that I haven't touched this screen and all of a sudden the names pop up again and I haven't touched anything.
Setting that there comes in Zoom that you can set in one of the settings.
Okay.
That allows you not to put it on or to put it on.
Okay.
So it's one of the settings, and if you stick around, Juanita,
Okay.
I'll see if I can find it out and tell you where it is.
All right. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Our video master can stop recording now. This is the end of our meeting.